2, and 3. Here you go. Okie dokie.
Hello, my loves.
Trying to get set
Welcome
up.
to Jupiter 1111 and Divine Universe 11. Sorry, some redheads taking over
Yeah.
the internet today.
I know it looks sideways.
Community.
I'm like, what is she doing?
We're just trying to get it together. Thank you for your patience as you are.
Okay. I'm gonna knock your things off. Okay. That's about
Okay. Oh, I know.
what happened.
I thought I had your internet in here before. On this one.
Oh,
Did I not have it?
okay.
Your Wi-Fi.
Uh,
What was your Wi-Fi?
yeah, I had to go downstairs to get the code. It should have been back in there.
What's your? I thought it's in here though. Which
It should be, definitely.
This one?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I didn't keep the secure.
Oh, okay. Okay, right now.
Sorry.
Introduce.
How are you? Sorry, we're getting it together. We'll be fine. So how are you today? As soon as I can log into my laptop, then I'll be able to communicate a little bit with you guys as well. And then I will answer any questions. But I see some, I can't see that far because of where I have it. But I see that some people are already in the room. Thank you so much. We're very excited to bring you today's simulcast between myself, Jupiter 1111, and Divine Universe 11. We are going to be talking about getting ready for the Roaring 20s, getting ready for union, because next year is the year 4, which is, you know, the 1111. It's the energetic gateway. So we wanted to make sure to bring you some downloads, some fresh downloads of how to get ready for October, how, you know, what you can do in October, November, and December to get yourself ready in this last quarter of this calendar year. Before the calendar year turns, we want to make sure that you have been put in a place where you can leverage the energies, leverage everything that's out there. Thank you so much. Because, oops, I wanted to make sure you can hear us, so I have my mic. Because all possibilities and probabilities exist. It's already in the quantum field, but only because it's set up in this quantum field for you. Think of the quantum field and everything that's been set up for you. All these good and perfect things have been set up for you by source. It's yours for the taking, but you still have to take it. You still have to receive it. You still have to nurture it in. Think of it that everything is in seed form, already there for you, but it's up to you to grab it and to nurture it and to cause it to come to pass. And sometimes it just takes your state, doing everything that you know how to do, and then standing in faith. But you can't stand in faith, you can't stand in belief, you can't stand in trusting in the process, trusting in yourself, trusting in source, trusting in that everything's working out for your good if you don't have understanding. Understanding is really the first, thank you so much. It's the first place where if things are going to get stolen from you, that's the first area where things will get hit. It's in your understanding. So what Divine Universe 11 and I are going to do for you today is to help you in that space of understanding, because we've been through a lot of it. And so we're going to get some downloads, and we're going to share some of our expertise and you know, give you counsel as we're seeing the cards unfold of what some things that you can do during this next 90 days. Because, you know, we have our DMs, we're in love with them, they're in love with us, we have constant communication, we're union with them.
Look this way. Come this way. Look what's on that truck, on that van. What does it say?
Oh, unity. Yes. And I love that because one person had said, and I can't remember who said it, and I apologize if you're here, but she said that, you know, she's starting to understand that union looks differently to people. and it can look differently. And then she talked about Divine Unisouls, and I was like, oh, you and Divine Unisouls are in union.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that's so true. I didn't think of it that way, but we are in union.
We are
because
in union.
That's how we sync up well, and she'll do readings on her, publicly and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is about me and my DM. Why is she putting my business out there?
Hey.
And vice versa, So it's really wonderful to have these kind of connections, and to be able to do that. And this is part of it, right? Because this is an abundant universe. So I don't mind, promoting her stuff. She promotes me, I promote her, because we both have that. We're in sync about that truth. We know that divine truth it's an abundant universe, and so we can champion each other's products and services, and we can work together. And we're going to be working together next year on 4/11. We're giving you the 411 and all the hot stuff that's happening in the Twin Flame community. So we want you to come out to Chicago. Come on in.
Won't you come? The doors of the church are now open.
Yes, it's going to be a phenomenal time. We're having limited seating. Divine Unisouls is going to be doing a workshop. I'll be doing one. Sophia Charles from Twin Flame Community in Toronto. She's coming all the way from the UK to be here in Chicago with us as well. We're starting already to get some really cool vendors for this event, and it looks like we probably have a dance group as well. So we'll have some entertainment, some beautiful things for you. Everyone's going to have an exceptional goodie bag and all kinds of free stuff, free chakra work, free readings and things for the people in the audience. It's going to be amazing. So you're going to get a full day event of workshops, free stuff, lots of goodies, and then we'll have limited seating for some VIPs, and they're going to get even more cool stuff, including having lunch with us. So that's part of the VIP package. If you want to know more about that, I'm going to be doing a website soon on that. But you can go ahead and go to risewithjupiter.com and scroll down. There's a little save the date icon, and when you go to the save the date, it'll send you to the place where you can sign up for updates. So you want to go ahead and do that. I know it's like 7 months away, but we're telling you because many of you, have kids, or you have jobs and stuff. You have to take vacations. You're not around the vicinity, so you have to take some vacation time. Many of the people who we work with are global. They're international, and so that's a financial investment for you to come in. And we understand that, which is why we're making it not only a full day's event, but we're going to be loading you with so many goodies that the goodies you have are going to actually supersede the ticket amount. So you're going to get that money back just in the free stuff that we're going to be giving to you, because we love doing free stuff, and we love to love on people, and we want to just bless you with a bunch of free things, because we know that the free stuff it's never garbage. It's always stuff where like, wow, I can't believe that the value. So you're going to get double the value for coming, and that's just some of the first fruits blessings, right? When you go ahead and you create this time for yourself to invest in yourself, it's our way to invest back in you. So we're excited to serve you. So we're going to be talking about October in a little bit, but can you give a quick synopsis of the first 2 weeks of your inner child workshops that you've been doing?
Yeah, so far I have done, the first one was on abandonment issues, and the next one was on exploitation. On October is it 7th or 8th? I keep on getting my dates mixed up in these timelines. But the first Saturday in October, I will be doing the next workshop on judgment and attack, which is a really biggie, because it has a dealing with like violence in it or abuse. Those of you all that have experienced it, whether it was verbally, emotionally, physically, or even financially, those are all the abuses too. And that's funny that it falls on that October, because October is domestic violence month too as well. So we kind of giving focus on in that as far as how that affects us as being child too, the wounds that we need to heal. I will also have on there a guest. Her name is, I call her Miss Kathy. She has a life coaching certificate, and then she's also certified in cognitive behavior. She's from PineappleLifeCoaching.com. And she's going to be in the Sunshine Lounge along with our most fabulous moderator, Jupiter 1111, as well. I think it's good to have someone who is experienced in it and they really, that's her profession, to help, because I see a lot of healing that goes on in the Sunshine Lounge. And I want to make sure that you know you have somebody that has resources that can even help you even after being in the Sunshine Lounge. Say, okay, the hour and a half that you spend with me, you was like, I really want some more. So I'm welcoming her in. She's been a client, a friend, a customer. And so I just really want to give, like, again, back to saying about unity and creating that in the community. It's not about me. If I'm not specializing in that area, I don't have a problem in passing it on to somebody else to say, okay, I'll give you over to the chakra queen. I don't do chakras. I do coaching. I talk to you. That's my specialty. And I educate you. That's my dharma. But again, that's that. And then also I have running now heart to heart meditation that I'm doing now, just $5 holler for that, in which it opens up. I've been working with this. This has been a channel meditation that Spirit had given me and my guides, and it has opened up a lot. It opens up as far as your heart chakra. Sometimes it's closed off to your divine masculine, your divine feminine. And then also you're being able to see, after a while, you keep on doing this meditation, you'll be able to see what's going on without you having to kind of prompt and getting it going within yourself. It will take over and tell you, okay, this is what's going on in your heart, and this is what's going on in the DM or the DF's heart. So please go to divineunisols11.co and just get that for $5. It's just real quick, but it is a well worth investment in getting that.
That sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You know, and $5 is great. 5 is, you know, the number of change, the number of grace. So when you think about it, saying you have the grace to change. So there's some things that are happening in your heart space where you're feeling like, you know, getting some anxiety. Sometimes it's going to manifest in anxiety, having a pit in your stomach, you know, not knowing where that's coming from. Then, you know, you have the grace to change. And that tool is only $5 USD, which is nothing.
Nothing.
Everybody has $5. You know, you can. This costs about that much.
Maybe a little bit more. Starbucks.
Starbucks. So, you know, skip your Starbucks for the day and invest in yourself. And a lot of times, you know, especially in the space when we're talking about union and being in union with our DMs and the different aspects and how that unfolds and how that grows organically. That's just something that you like. Sometimes maybe you don't have that, but it comes out of nowhere. You're like, I don't think it's my energy. I think it's my DMs. And so it's a great way also to invest in your union by investing in your DM. You can go ahead and get that kind of meditation or chakra work or whatever else you're doing. If you're feeling it's for yourself, then or not for yourself, it's about your DM. Then you can actually, you know, call him forward and you just, you know, call your spirit forward. And I bless you with this. Now, don't do it with the expectation and then he's going to send you a text or show up with flowers or all of a sudden he's going to come up on a horse and be like, you're right. You don't do it for those reasons. You do it as an act of love. And when you do that, now you are creating a space where that energy is pure. It's like having pure, beautiful sunlight getting into his heart space, and then allowing that to unfold for him the way source intends, versus having your intention. The only intention you should be attaching to that when you do work for your DM is the intention for him to be free. Because when he is free, then he can rise up to be the Hierophant. He can rise up to be the kind of man or woman that that person is created to be. And so whenever you're doing work for your DM, it's always with the intention of freedom for themselves, understanding that, yeah, you're going to get benefit from that, but the real benefit is going to be able to watch him rise and watch him be free and watch him be successful and healthy. And I'm saying he, you know, DM with your divine counterpart, maybe a woman, but you know how that goes. But just do it with that kind of intention. And when you do, those are the kind of things when a lot of people believe in karma, that's good karma. Because you don't want to mix and have, you know, strange fire, where you're mixing your intentions of, I'm doing a good work, but the intention is manipulation. Right. That the reason you're actually doing it is because you're trying to force a situation for him to come to you or her to come to you, and that should not be the intention. if you knew who you were as a twin flame, and if you knew that's your DM, then you know that that person is meant for you, created for you, you're already attached, and so the intention by the universe and the powers that be is for you to be together. So you don't have to worry about the end, you just have to see the end from the beginning, knowing that's all gonna work itself out, and this is how I'm going to help them, because it's going to be fun, and then make it a game. It's going to be fun to watch this unfold and see him be free, see him, you know, and then see him or her for who they are. You know, see their greatness, their talents, and then give all that juice out. And when you do, that comes back to you. You know, other people will start to see that in you as well and feed your heart space and feed your talents and give you opportunities to share. So whenever you're doing something for your DM, do it with pure intentions.
Yeah, and a footnote to that is that the reason why I came up with that meditation, because a lot of times when you do try to sit down and meditate and try to see about yourself in the situation that you are with your DM, you have a lot of overactive crown chakra going on, and it's like this, and this is the way to kind of like settle, be open and receptive to the idea of having the DM come into your heart. Some of us is kind of blocked off with the heart chakra energies in the first place, and that was just really a reason why that came to me and challenged to me. Is like, okay, learn how to open up your heart, not just only just to him, but just in general. So I'm in agreement with that. We don't want to manipulate. It's not coming intention that, ooh, I'm going to change you, my pretty, and none of that kind of stuff. Although we're coming into Halloween, but we're not doing any of that kind of stuff at all. No. It just is the intentions of opening up and the possibilities, just like with your desires and manifesting wishes that you put out there. That's one thing.
Right, because you're really then setting yourself up for disaster down the road, because will it work if you do it with manipulation? Yes, but it's almost like then putting in that hustle mentality. What you hustle to get, you're gonna have to hustle to keep. How you get him is how you're gonna have to keep him. So if you do it with pure intentions of unconditional love and really wanting to be a vehicle and an avenue for this person that you love to be free and to be everything that they were designed to be, then that is free flowing, and then you're in you put yourself in a high vibrational state. But then if you start putting it in out of manipulation of trying to get him, then what happens is now you're putting in you're creating a toxic environment that will manifest when he comes to you. So there'll be other things that'll happen. Yes, maybe you'll get him to come, but then he'll be in and out, or then he'll start having other parties there, or something else will happen that he'll be, you know, you're not gonna like the results, and that's because you're feeding it toxicity in order to get what you want. So you always want to do it with the purest of intentions, and we're not 100%. Of course, we want the person, you know, and there is some kind of, you know, selfishness there, because we're like, we want the person, but it's more of what is the higher vibrational part. So we just wanted to do things with the right intentions, so you can get the best outcome for yourself and for the person that you love. So let's start tapping into October. So October is the month 10, right? So 10 is about the ending of cycles. So in October, you're going to start to see ending of cycles. You're going to start to see harvest. So a lot of the things that, you know, we're ending, 9 is about birthing. Those things that you have been seeding toward all year long is starting to manifest now in September. So if you do not like what you see, then you have time to turn it around, because things are starting to birth out now, and there are cycles that are going to be closing. There's harvests that are coming in the month of October, and I talk a lot about the observer effect in quantum physics, which is basically what you see is what you get. What you're seeing with your third eye is what you're going to be getting. So if you are seeing a lot of issues with your counterpart, and it works either in any area, with your union, with your health, with your money, with the things happening at your jobs, with your career path, with a relationship with one of your parents, whatever that is. We're just using the union because, that's why you're here.
Union with self.
Yeah, so you have to understand union with self. But what you want is having union with your divine counterpart. So those things, if you're, depending on how you're focusing on it, it's feeding, and so it's going to be manifesting a lot of that in October. So if you're in constant state of anxiety, then you're going to, because that's how you're feeding it with your emotions. Your feelings are the language of your subconscious, which is running your life 90% of the time. So that's why feelings are important, because it's your fuel and it's actually the truth for you. There's, people always say, oh, I want to live in my truth. Well, you are living in your truth. The truth of what you believe is true for you, even if that truth is not divine truth. So you can have this mindset, for example, that you have to hustle in order for you to create wealth for yourself. So then what happens is that you don't see the easier possibilities. You don't allow the law of grace in order for you to free flow, get inspiration from source, and then free flow from those inspired ideas from source that would actually bring you money faster and easier. Then you won't have all that anxiety inside your body, because you've decided somewhere along the way, this was reinforced in you, that in order for you to create wealth, in order for you to have what you want, you're going to have to work hard for it. And the thing is that between hustle and flow, they look the same, because you are working hard, but it's the intention behind it. So when you're hustling, you're actually creating spaces of toxicity, because you're having this, I have to do everything myself, I have to do these things, I have to work 3 or 4 jobs. And I'm not saying that there are not seasons where you're not working multiple jobs to make ends meet, but that should be a season, not a 40-year cycle. You shouldn't be hustling. You shouldn't be hustling for all that time, so then you can retire and do what you want at 65 and then die at 75. So what, you're gonna wait, you're gonna be in your bliss for 10 years? No. As twin flames, we're called to be the example of being in your bliss. And being in your bliss means that you are free to do what you're called to do. And if you would just nurture yourself, especially the next couple days, because we're like in a new moon cycle as well. So as take advantage of those things, start nurturing yourself, start getting the information from source, get those inspired ideas, and then activating your 3rd chakra of courage and might, and then just doing it. A lot of times we don't do the things that source gives us. You're asking the question, how do I do this, or what's the next step? And then when you get the idea, because the idea comes in so subtly, so softly, and so simply, that you dismiss it. You're dismissing it because you believe that that's too good to be true, or that's too easy to do. No, because when you get that inspired idea, it has that breath of God, that breath of source, that source energy with it, that if you would just then take the idea, write it down, and say, okay, how can I flush this out, and then go do it, you're gonna find success. So for those who are new here, I'm retired. I get to do whatever I want every single day. I just turned 45. So I didn't have to wait another 20, 30 years to get into my bliss. I'm actually in my bliss right now. I love my life. I get to talk to my DM, and I have dates with him, and I have my 3 kids that I'm nurturing, and I'm nurturing you guys, and I get to do all this fun stuff. And am I having challenges still? Yes. My health has been up and down, but I don't allow the issues that are happening in my body to dictate what I'm going to do eventually. So I just keep on pushing forward, because I can see the end from the beginning, that my health is turning a corner, that I will be back to where I was before and be totally healthy. But in the meantime, I'm going to focus on my bliss, because that helps my health if I focus on my bliss. So when I have my energy, do the stuff in my high vibe state that I can do, and then when my energy depletes, just allow it to deplete, allow source energy to just, replenish me however long it takes, not beat myself up for it, and keep on going. But because of that, a few months ago, I got into alignment with myself first, do the gym package. For those of you who are new, it's like the Get Your Masculine and Get Your Mission package. And so I got into quick alignment with myself after like 4 weeks. I got into mission, and then a few weeks after that, my DM and I went into union. So it's always an inside out work, always. So when you are focusing, if you're focusing on something, you really want something to happen and to manifest what you want to birth out. If it's an area of frustration for you, then you actually have to back off from that, because there's something in it that's causing you to have anxiety. So you have to deal with the root issue. And the root issue really is not about that manifestation, whether it's your union or the job promotion or getting a job or getting extra money or working on your health. It's not really that thing that's getting your attention. There's something else beneath that that needs to be dealt with, because that's also birthing more things that you don't want. So as we're going into this harvest season, start to pay attention about what harvest is coming into your space. And then just asking the hard question, what was my part in this? How much of this did I allow by not changing my mindset, by not feeding it, by not nurturing it? And you don't have to nurture something very long every day. 20% of your effort is going to give you 80% of the results. So if you would, what have you been doing every day consistently for the last 9 months? Because you're going to have harvest of those things. Is starting to manifest, is starting to birth out. There are cycles that want to close and then open up for you in the next 30 days. And if you don't like it, the thing is you can stop it. And how do you stop it? You just stop it with a choice. You're like, okay, I speak death to the root cause of that. I speak death, because life and death and the power of your tongue. That's why you're a co-creator, because you have been given that authority and that power by source energy to speak out. That's your fifth chakra, your bridge. A bridge, right? It's a bridge. Brings one thing to the other. So your bridge is bridging the stuff from the 5D, from the quantum field, into this 3D reality. And you can start auditing. What are you saying? What have you been saying? And then asking the hard question, and then being honest with yourself. What have I done to allow what I don't like? And that's going to be hard, because you're not going to like the answer you give yourself for the part that you played in it. And you have to ask the question, and you have to be honest with it. And it could be, because I'm afraid. It could be because, I don't know the answers. It could be something simple, and then deal with that. But unless you ask yourself the hard question of what was my part in this manifestation, what was my part in the harvesting of this, then you're gonna end up going in circles instead of in cycles. Circles means it just, you start the fool's journey and you didn't learn your lesson. Cycles means that it's happening again, but because you learned the lesson, the manifestation period is shorter and shorter and shorter. And then eventually you'll have mastery in that space, and then you just start manifesting like this in that space. So when I got into union with myself, and it's a constant thing, because, source energy doesn't tell you everything, because if you knew everything that needed to be changed, and because of where source energy is taking you and how big the vision is that was planned for your life, you'd be like, no, I'm tap out. That sounds like it's too good to be true, it's too much for me to do. So source energy will only reveal to you what you're ready to change, what you can take right now and what's ready to change, and then help you strip out those things and help you build muscles, right? Because you advance and you hold. You advance, you expand your territory, and you hold it. So as you're going through this process, I was going through that process, and then I was working the 2 jobs, and then I was able to, get enough funds so I can move out of my corporate job. And I was second in command to the executive global vice president and the division. I was well respected. I got to travel. I got bonuses. I got scholarships. The powers that be all the way up the chain knew my name, and they knew that if that person was out, that they can just count on me for the answer. So it was, I was at the top of my game when I said, bye, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna go follow my bliss. So one of the things, and this is going to happen to you, and this is why it's so important for you to understand how you raise the vibration, because when I was leaving, the one thing that everybody said was that I was brave. That I was brave to go do what I love, that I was brave to go and take a chance and take the risk. And to me, it's not a risk, because I now understand alignment more than ever. So it wasn't a risk for me to jump, because I know the end from the beginning. And I know that, and I already have proof that in following my bliss, things always work out. So that's what we're here to teach people. That's really the main thing, is that if you will take the risk and follow your bliss, and just do what you were created to do, everything's gonna work out and then some. It's not just, it's source energy is, look at the rainforest, it's never minimum, it's always abundant. It's always like a little bit of seed that's causing all this massive growth. And so that's the thing that we show people. We're always talking about raising the vibration of the planet, but that's how you do it. When you are yourself and you are doing what you love, it inspires people. Inspiring means like, you know, getting that breath from source energy to go and to do. And so it's been waking people up. All these people that I was connected to, hundreds of people, they're like, just by that one action, they're like, wow, now they're starting to think, what am I doing? Do I really like this job? Do I really want to stay here? Yes, it pays me well. Am I really happy? Just by my moving, it has awakened hundreds of people to ask the question, is this my bliss? And if it's not, I need to get the hell up out of here.
That's true, that's true.
So what do you got for us?
Yeah, so this is October, right? Just
Yes.
making sure I'm following.
October, yes.
Okay, so I pulled out the cards already while she was talking. The focus here is, you know, I believe in the angels and the other things. So it has Archangel Raphael. So the focus is cleansing in the month of October, getting rid of all those things that no longer serve its purpose, getting rid of things that like, you could say even karmic lessons, and in those cycles. So just again, going back to what you're saying, ending cycles, and the cards pretty much confirm that. Also, the next card that comes out is Colorless Angel. So we need to cleanse out all that stuff because some of us are forgetting that we are divine. We kind of just, we got the equipment, it's like we got the cape, we got the uniform on, it says we're Superwoman or Superman, and it was like, okay, now what do? I see the telephone booth, I don't know if I still stay Clark Kent, or should I go in here and transform into the Superman and help save the world and be the light worker that I'm supposed to be. And so that's what we're trying to do, is just stop going through the mundane things over and over again, just like Jupiter 11 stated about leaving her job. It got to the point it was like mundane. This doesn't serve a purpose. It feels like I could be doing something much greater out in the world than what I'm doing here just at this job. This is great. We, each one of us, when we have jobs, those things are like a platform to take it out from the other. Just like with me, teacher. If I decide to kind of leave and be a teacher, and I say I want to go out there and be the Ayana Van Zandt, the spirituality, and go on a worldwide tour and talk about what things it is to be divine, then I can still take the things that I learned on my job from being a teacher. I can still take some of the things of having a degree in fashion design, and go out there with my fabulousness, with my outfits, and show that all.
Somebody did ask if you were selling the earrings.
Oh, if I'm selling, no, I got these from Macy's. These are from Macy's. Go to Macy's and get there. Yeah, so, you know, I can do all those things and bring that on to my job as well. We also have it not in the love department, because of course we want to know how we're expressing love too in October. So we need to focus in on is staying optimistic about your love life. We're leveling up. We're thinking about what things we can give to the universe. We have our eyes on the prize, understanding that we are also the prize as well. It's not just an outward thing, and gaining some more knowledge. However, we're moving and making those changes in our masculine energy, which is how we're receiving and how we're giving, which means analytically how we're thinking. We got to get that optimism in our minds together. Also, we have observers. So we have healing family issues. Again, that goes back to whenever I see a child and a parent in it, that means we still got to do the work of healing, because that goes along with cleansing. So we got to watch what we're observing. We want this new beginning that we're sitting on top of like this, but we got to be clever and watch the way we're thinking, and we got to get really fine-tuned as to what we are looking at as far as when we're talking about illusions, and we're talking about having things lined up energetically. We want to cross the finish line, but guess what? That thing that's stopping us from doing that is, again, those family issues. So we got to get down and really cleanse that out. We're looking at past life relationships. Now, that can go two ways. It could go past life as far as if you're a person believing like I am about actually past lives and how that's playing a part into the current life that you have in here now. Or we could be talking about past lives and the relationships that we have in, like the old boyfriend, the ex, the catalytic twin that we thought was the one, but I found out he wasn't the one. So all those things of playing a part is the higher power, and moving into this energy where the higher power, or I call it the powers that be, are really stepping in and giving that extra push to say, okay, let's really start looking at our past relationships. Let's really start looking and seeing how that's playing a part with now, and we gotta let it go. Just like I said on my channel, I'm on the point that what I'm doing is doing a forgiveness challenge, 30 days, where I'm actually journaling and writing down those things, and really taking like every man, I call it, it's raining man. I'm looking at every man. I'm looking at every man. Hallelujah, it's raining man. Amen. Okay, all right. So anyway,
You have to cut the 411 of that.
Right, we got
Can you
to.
imagine?
I had to put that in. I was trying to be good, but it don't work. So yeah, so that part, so I'm looking at like that, any kind of man that's came in, let's kind of fit that and kind of get it together as far as even up to the masculine. So that's 30 days that I'm doing. I said 23, but I'm gonna do it 30 days to do that. So I'm doing that, channeling that, journaling that before I go to bed, because they were saying that that kind of helps subconsciously to kind of make the shifts and the moves within yourself. So I do that before I go to bed, and I'm doing that in that journal that I had showed you all called Renewed. I'm kind of tweaking it my kind of way, my version, but it's still helping as well. So the higher power is really opening up that, again, the third eye, which is the overseer of all the other chakras. So if that gets in line and everything else will open up. And so it's really making that push. Now we're going to create this life change here. The next card is health care change. So this end, the month that's interested has got orange, which is pretty much indicative when we always think about October and Halloween. Again, the sacral color, that kind of getting that connection together. And it's also got a little yellow in there, so we know that's solar plexus. So that's really standing in our power, being grounded, knowing who we are. So we're transforming in those two areas. It says healthcare change. Now that could go several ways. Healthcare change could be as far as like your health, as far as like make sure you're getting the maintenance, doing things that like I call this self-care Saturday, where you really take time out and say, okay, I run all my errands, but make sure we put in some time in which we have for self. Make sure that's part of our regimen, because a lot of times we think about us being empaths. A lot of times we have a tendency that we want to put everybody else first needs and ours is last, and like, well, they really need me, so I'm gonna really go ahead and do this for them, and then I'll find some time to do me at the end, and then before you know it, you done forgot you, period. You done did everybody else but yourself. So that's one thing that we got to kind of make sure that we cleanse and get rid of. Oh, there you go. Okay, cleanse and get rid of on that part. We also need to make sure that healthcare, as far as like what we're eating, dietary things, you know, those things, making sure we have an evenness there. But I'm thinking more so, again, is the holistic. This is what they're saying. Holistic approach about everything. So if it means you got to get the chakras aligned or whatever other things that you have to do, you want to go for yoga, because that's why I was saying I was going to introduce also more yoga practice into it, because I love that. So a lot more physical movement.
So gentle to the body.
Right, and so that part. So getting those things. So thinking about how can I add on more of the health, my body. We think about the spiritual and getting that together, but we forget about how do we get our body together. And then some things that we need to surrender in the month of October is procrastination. I mean, putting off what we know we need to do in order to go to the next level, because I see stairs there going up to the light. And you also got a lot of greenery, and it's a lot of trees, getting a lot of knowledge as well. And so it says now is the time to jump on a goal instead of putting it off. Taking action will attract success. So that, again, getting on your mission, getting on your purpose, doing those things in October. That goes again back to cleansing. It's like, okay, it's time to stop procrastinating and say, nah, you know, this ain't a good time, you know, because it's fall, it's changing. And I think maybe next year I'll start my thing. That'll be part of my thing I said, moving into 2020, that's what I'm going to do. And that's not going to work. We got to come set forth with the vision already in place. So when 2020 hits the road and 20's have, we could just move on and do that. And it says surrender to rest and sleep. That goes back to what I just said again, cleansing again, that self-care. So that's really being stressed by the guides and the divine powers that be, that we need to make sure that we don't have burnout, slow down, honor your need for quiet time and peace, sleep to rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. Again, finding that self-care, finding time within the day. If you just like 5 minutes, okay, I shut it down. Like even in my school with my kids, even at lunchtime, I play some nice 432 hertz music, kind of bring my heart down before the kiddies come back in there. Oh, Jesus. So I have to kind of like, namaste, right there in the middle of the day. So that's what you have to find out, your quiet in the midst of the storm that's going on. We also have here, to get in our divinity, 2 things we got to work with is, now I can't reverse, but I don't know reversals with them. Goddess of destruction. That means sometimes if you got to break some shit up, then do it.
Yeah, you can't make the omelet without breaking some eggs.
That's right. So if you got to find yourself doing that, it's saying in your emotions, and sometimes you got to tell people no and understand no is a full sentence. Not it's got to be followed up with explanation. Sometimes you'll have to find it to help yourself to cleanse, to give you that space so you can do the work. And they said man of holding coins, so I'm kind of in between on this one, so I guess it's also how you're viewing also your divine masculine as well, and as far as your prosperity of how you are thinking as well. If you know that that's what you want in life to bring on the abundance, you got to kind of look at that and see, so shake some stuff up. Like I say, got to scramble some eggs to actually get some scrambled eggs or some sunny side up. Now, so sacred sexuality. So again, it goes back to this physical again. They keep stressing this, I see, again, about the physicalities and being able to marry and have that union with the divine masculine and the divine feminine within, and just being okay with the skin that you're in. That is really why we're talking about it. We have to cleanse. So the big thing for October is cleansing, shaking things up, self-care, doing the healing work, looking towards our past, staying optimistic, surrender to the procrastination, get on your stuff, forget about it. If it's not working and it's broke, you guess what? You got to fix it. That's it.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good stuff. And it all like came together, right? If this stuff is going to start manifesting, you're going into these cycles where some cycles need to close, and so in order for the cycles to open up for you, you have to start getting into your own alignment, really taking care of yourself. Part of self-care is to write down your goals, make the vision, write the vision down, make it plain so that way you can run with it and stop procrastinating and saying that you need all this stuff. You don't need all this stuff. You just need to know what is the next step. The next step for you to take is already available to you, and as you take the risk on yourself and as you go in that direction, all the resources that you need will become available to you, whether that's a resource of knowledge, of understanding, of networking, of opportunities for you to put your hand to something in order to create some monetary wealth there. Whatever it is, you already have everything you need to know right now for the next step. So that's where you need to go. I'm going to do a little bit of chakra work. I'm going to use Kevin McLeod's Sky Calling, which is a royalty-free song. And I will make sure to put that at the link so YouTube doesn't slap my hand or hers later. So just open yourself up, and a lot of times Divine Unisouls gets like little snippets of what it means, and that will just add to the experience. So just open yourself up and just receive the source energy that wants to come out for you. I bless you and as a prophet of the I Am Presence, for you to just receive whatever it is you need for the month of October, as you're thinking about all the things that Divine Unisouls 11 was unfolding, whatever aha moments that came for you for the month of October, now receive this kind of juice from source. Oh, it would help if I put the speaker, turn it off. Let's start that over again. Okay. I love this song, Magic Miracle song. I don't know why, but for me it is. Se non arete non è Sealed in love and light.
What I seen was golden light. It was an archway, and it was like light. I seen an eagle flapping, coming towards that. So the eagle would represent. I'm trying to think off of my mind. I know power. That's what I seen. But then it changed and it shifted to seeing like a moon and dark waters. For me, and they just went there, and it just stayed. I was like, okay, can we change the scene? And it was like, no, this is what you got to kind of deal with. So again, it's illusion and intuition and awareness. So you're moving from that light, knowing of enlightenment, but it's still saying, again, like we said for the month of October, we got to still deal with that intuition and that awareness and deal with the darkness or the shadow side of us that we don't really want to deal with, but we got to do the work. And that's what it's saying. It's cleansing. But if we're like eagles, stop thinking, like I think of the saying again, like they say, chickens. We're not chickens. We're divine.
We're divine.
Yeah.
You know, and eagles, you know, there's a couple things about eagles, right? They fly alone.
Yeah.
So it's really about going through that, understanding that there is a process to things, and there is a process of when you're going to be isolated. But the isolation is on purpose, because it's really building you up for the moon, which is, the moon is also the signal of the high priestess. Most of the people who show up here are divine feminine, and I'm saying, okay, in order for you to be who you really are as a high priestess, which is the epitome of who you really are, as the highest form of yourself, you're going to have to be able to fly higher. Eagles fly high. You know, when there's a storm, they actually go above the storm. So understanding that in your isolation, it's actually protection to put you above the storm, not to go beneath it, but to rise higher by tapping into your high priestess self and go above the storm. And as the storm settles and goes away, then you can come down. Also, when they are looking for prey, they have to rise up, they go above and they go really high, because like the hawk, they're able to see. The higher they go, the farther they're able to see. That's also tapping into the moon part of yourself, the high priestess. As you go higher, you'll be able to see farther, and you can't have anything you can't see, because what you see is what you get. So some of you, you're not flying high enough. You have to fly higher, tap into your high priestess self, so you can see and be optimistic, so you can see the end from the beginning, so you can rise above the storm. Like I was saying before, everything you need is already inside of you, but what you need to do is go higher, fly higher than what you're doing right now in order for you to go above the storm. And then as you do, you can then look at the storm, the dark shadows of yourself properly, because now you're understanding it's beneath you. The shadow part of you is beneath you, eagle, right? This is your shadow, and this is who you really are. And so you're being called for October to rise above your shadow self, see it for what it is, deal with it so it can pass, and then you can come back down and do what you're supposed to be doing.
All right, take what I
Come on.
to the next level. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you guys,
in my stand-up.
yes. I'm 4'11", because it's gonna be powerful. Imagine all of us in the room and all that
Ooh, all that
TwinFlame
good
juice.
All that juice.
Just the two of us here. What's happening with two of us here physically? There's something that happens when you have that physical 3D connection.
Yes.
So come out on 4/11. It's really fantastic.
It's fantastic.
So now we're going to go into November. So November is the month 11. It has to do with, right? So now you've kind of closed some chapters in your life, open some doors are happening. You're starting to write down your goals. You're taking care of yourself in your health and in your money, starting to really peel away those things, those storms coming, riding above the storm, seeing it for what it is, dealing with those things. And I love that that 30-day forgiveness challenge, because it really then, if you started in October, one of the things in November in the States, right, is Thanksgiving, where we take a day to just be thankful. And so that is a really great way for you to get ready for November, is to start the same challenge that Divine Unisoul's 11 talked about, which is having the 30 days of forgiveness, because it's actually helping you also to rise above, because you are never more like God than when you forgive or when you give. So as you're doing that practice for yourself to release those things that are really causing storms within yourself, then you are setting yourself up for more gratitude. You're peeling those things away. You're empowering yourself to get into the month of thankfulness, the month of your soul purpose, because now you've kind of been pushed into it. 11, we love the number 11, right? Because it has to do with our union and twin flaminess. So what are you willing to do in order to take advantage of that energetic makeup? So even if you're not from the States, or you don't, and I'm conflicted, because I love the idea around Thanksgiving, but the way it came to pass, no. Because there's nothing really thankful about how that event came to pass.
It's my land now.
Yeah, right. It was, came and stole the land, raped the women, and took all the gold. So in that experience, don't tap into that. But this is one of the things that you can do coming into November, even if you're not from the States, right? What's going on in people's minds? They start getting into the holiday spirit. They start to become more thankful. They start to become more open. They start to become more giving. So what you do, High Priestess, is that you tap into that energy. So how do you tap into it? To leverage what you're doing, you just say, you just say it, right? It's your bridge. I'm tapping into that energy of thankfulness. I'm tapping into the agreements throughout time and space. I'm tapping into the agreements right now that's happening in this month of November, that people are just open and thankful and generous, and to help juice me up to be in that state of mind. And as that energy is feeding you, it's feeding you energetically, it'll then help to feed your soul. I'm hearing soul prosperity. You will prosper and be in health as your soul, your mind, your will, and your emotions prosper. That's 3, right? This is the year 3. So as those 3 things come into union, that's a cord of 3 strands that's not easily broken, then you're going to start to see really massive amounts of manifestation, because you've now purged yourself through the 30 days of forgiveness. And now, because you've purged yourself from all that unforgiveness in your heart that you may not have even realized that was there, you've kind of weathered the storms, you've gone above it, and now you'll be able to experience some of that soul prosperity that wants to push through in November. But in order to have that, you need to tap into that realm of thanksgiving, that realm of giving thanks, that realm of gratitude, and purposely staying there. Understanding that, yes, all this other stuff might be happening, but I don't have to give it my attention or my focus. I don't have to give it any more energy than it's already taking from me. It's not like you're ignoring it, you're acknowledging it, but you're saying that it doesn't, you're not giving it authority to have power over you. So this is why this is really going to be the month of your soul prosperity, your mind, your will, and your emotions. Because the thing is, it's already happening. It's happening by default. But you're going to have to do some things by design. This is why October was set up for you to purge, to set your goals, to start working toward them. Because there are things that wants to manifest for you in November out of your soul prosperity. Cycles are going to close. New cycles are going to open. New doors are going to open for you. And you get to decide the direction that's going to take. You are the deciding factor. You are a free moral agent. And so you have all possibilities and probabilities exist. which is great when it's for a benefit, not so great when it's going to jack us up. So not everything is going to be 100%, but you can actually cause a lot of things to manifest in your life by how you're going to perceive it, right? Because what you see is what you get, and as you are nurturing your soul properly, then everything else is going to come out of that experience. What you got for us?
Okay, so the month of November, correct? That's what we're on.
That's
Okay,
right.
all right. So the focus is the Archangel Haniel, which will be willpower. So we're focusing in on our willpower. We're talking about things are going to start happening very soon. So we need to really clearly decide which way we're going, because again, we're closing out the year. We're going into the roaring 20s. And so, you know, October you cleanse, you kind of got yourself together. Now it's like, okay, now I cleanse what? What to do next? And so you need to really decide which way you're going and how you're going to really purposefully and with intent make your next move. Now, what things you're kind of fighting with at that moment is this me? You're finding yourself some things kind of dying off within yourself. You're finding yourself saying you're becoming the person that maybe you might not even recognize. Because when I look at this card, I'm like, is she human or is she not? So things are going to have to die off. Now, I see they got the sword pointing down, and I just kind of learned that about the cards. A lot of times when you have swords pointing down, that means you're standing in your truth. That represents truth. So with that, you're really trying to find out who's the true identity of who you are, and understanding that you are divine, understanding that your purpose, your mission, and all that. What things you're changing now, again, it keeps on bringing about this body things. Now, I think about also Patricia Mcnealy, I'm about her also as well, how she's saying that our bodies are really molecularly changing, you know. I think about my grandmother always say that your body changes every 7 years. So the cell structures, everything. So we're talking about also physically we're making these changes as well. So even if it's like the self-care that we practice in October, so let's say we're speaking those things as if they are. So we did those things. We're doing yoga class. We're eating better. We're taking that self-care. We're taking time out. So it's now starting to create this change here. Look at this butterfly. It looks like it just came out the chrysalis. So it's not totally out there ready to kind of flap the wings and kind of take off. So in the month of November, we're probably still kind of getting that blood pumping through the wings, and we're not quite ready to kind of say, okay, now it's time for me to fly and blow this camp and now start becoming a divine person and start spreading our light all over the place. We still got kind of a little bit of work that we got to do in the month of November. What things also, I see that one, okay, chaos and conflict. It's going to cause a little conflict. That goes with this. That part, or does this go with this? This one goes with that, because I'd say clarify for this one. But that goes with that. It doesn't matter, because sometimes when spirit jumps the cards around, it means that's where it actually needs to go. So we're going to have some conflict and some chaos, because the reason why, I'm going to put you right back there. I'm sorry, I'm arguing with the spirit, and the spirit saying, what did I tell you to put it? You said to put it right there. So I'm going to be good. I'm not going to be spiritually retarded. Every time I'm bad about that, so I will follow suit. So chaos and conflict, which means that right now the way you're going is not a traditional way of transportation and going. And if you kind of keep on going the way that you are, things are going to find themselves kind of crumbling apart, because you're becoming new. And that's going new creature in your divinity or in your becoming a light worker. This is different. Although around you I see desert, so that means like everything around you, maybe you're looking physically in the 3D, like I'm not seeing nothing prosper. You know, where's the stuff? Is this like desert? I'm just out here. And so you're going to have to kind of find a way of kind of working with that newness that you're in. You got to find a surrender to fear. That's again, like I say, everything that looks around, I can feel through this card. It's like a panicky. It's like, oh my God, this is so new. I don't know. I got these butterfly wings. What am I doing? Oh my God, I need help. So you got to let go of the fearful stories you are telling yourself. Like, okay, this is not going to work. You know, these wings are not going to help me propel and go into the next level or the next cycle. The roaring 20s, it might take over me. I might not take over it. So you got to kind of watch yourself with that. Focus on solutions and celebrate every baby step forward. I like that. Baby step. Don't eat the whole elephant. Just take it one step at a time. And that goes back to, again, with the card, what it says about the butterfly and the changes. Again, butterfly don't just take off from there. They have to wait until it kind of the blood pumps through the wings so it can become stronger. That's the same thing with you. Celebrate. Take time to celebrate in November the great things. Surrender to your full power. Your life is calling for you to step into your full power rather than playing it small. I see here the Lion Heroes represents courage. Kind of also managing that ego too, because I feel like, again, that chaos and conflict, that ego is going to do a lot of talking to you in November, that you got to kind of like, okay, hold on, who the master here? I'm the master, not you. Be quiet. So you're going to have to kind of find that. I see her using old tools. So to me, in some ways, it's going to be like natural, like tools, things that that's innately that the spirit has put in you. As far as I think it's the emotions that's going to have to really try to battle. It's not. I don't see a male represented in there. So that means that the feminine power, which means the divine feminine power, which would be your emotions, is really going to have to take control of this situation and really kind of be the driving force for that. Also, you're going to have the divinity, goddess of nurturing. While you're going through all this transformation, you're going to have to learn how to be like a quiet. Kuan Yin is very powerful, but very quiet too, but she's strong like the wind. And so that's the way he's saying that as you're doing all these movements of change is happening and occurring in your life, you're going to have to kind of find a way how to be able to become one with those things, but nurture yourself at the same time while you're doing that. It's okay if you're not moving in the way that you want to. You're going to have to become your good best friend again. You might have to find yourself mothering yourself or fathering yourself and kind of self-correct too. So that's what I see with that one. I had all clarifies about this goddess of nurturing. So again, it says you got to work a lot with your communications in doing that, of how you're nurturing, making sure that what kind of ways you're doing developing relationships with others. You got to have caring connections. That's also helping you nurturing things. Cornucopia, how you're bringing abundance into the 3D and really seeing material things manifest. You're going to have to nurture about that. And then you also have to have a new strategy of how you're going to handle this willpower, because willpower is very strong. However, you're also going to have to find out with your fourth chakra, with your heart chakra, how you can be able to work with that, because it seems like also your communication is going to be the driving force for this willpower, and your heart is going to help you to do that as well, to build these caring connections. To me, I'm kind of picking up also the this one. The sacral. I like this one. The sacral. Yeah, so I'm picking up they got that, but that's going to have help too as well as far as this willpower. Mm-hmm. That's it for November.
Yeah, because the and a couple things that she said was, this is November, right? So you're breaking out in November. Mm-hmm. But you're not ready to take off yet. Mm-mm. But you're getting ready to, because that goes into 12, which 12 means is order, getting things into order. Mm-hmm. So you have to, things are going to start getting into order, but your breakout, you're going to feel a breakout and breakthrough in November. Mm-hmm. A lot of that again has to come through, your bridge. What are you saying? That's your fifth chakra. Right. What are you allowing? What are you saying yes to? What are you saying no to? Because what you say, you are again the free more agent. You're the one to allow and disallow, because you've been given that authority and that right by source energy, and that's why you're a co-creator. But we're not taught this, so until it becomes second nature, and it can take years. You're gonna have to do this almost every day for years to reprogram yourself until it becomes second nature to mm-hmm. you. So don't be hard on yourself. But if you have to put post-its up or put things on your phone like shh. only say what you want to see. Right. Even something like that. I will only say what I want to see. If you don't want to see that, then don't say it. Thoughts have an energetic signature. And thoughts eventually become things, but only because you're dwelling on them, and then you start speaking it, and then you start doing the actions to make those words come to pass. It's actually, words matter because they become matter. They're actually your servants. So what you're kicking off through your bridge is bridging that toward you. Mm-hmm. It's attracting that toward you. It's aligning that toward you. It's not your thoughts. If you're thinking something, that doesn't create it. It's the act of speaking that does. Because now, think of yourself like a sovereign nation, and that you are the king, you are the queen there, and so anything that you say goes. That's your kingdom. And so what you're saying about yourself, what you're saying about your union, what you're saying about your health, what you're saying about your money, what you're saying about your relationships, you keep on saying, well, I'm so psychic because I say it and it happens. Well, you're not psychic, you're just creating it. Because you keep on tapping into that possibility. And so that possibility that says, oh, is that what you want? Okay, it's already out there. Anything that you can think is a possibility for you. That's why we're limitless. That's why as a man thinks, so is he. Because if it comes into your mindset, that means it's a possibility and a high probability for you specifically. And then you start talking about it, and then you're like, well, you know, every time I go 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Oh.
Yeah. Because you're actually creating that. And the way you create that is because you keep on saying it. Now that becomes your truth. Then let's say now you put your blinders on. So things like, you know, every time I get money, something breaks down in the house. Well, what happens is that you've convinced yourself that's your truth, and then because it's your truth, now it's your belief system. So now you have your blinders on. So when your gas tank starts making noise, you're not even hearing it, and then it goes off. And you're like, oh man, now I gotta go and replace it, it's $1,500. Well, it's because since you keep on saying something always happens in the house, so when the house is saying, hey, come and fix me, you can't even hear it, you can't see it either of what you have to fix. That would have, if you would have taken in that part that would have cost $200, now because you did it, the whole thing is jacked up, now you have to spend $2,000. Because you have put your blinders on. Blinders can be good because it helps you to focus, but it also means that now you have blind spots and you can't see over here. So you have to start auditing what are you saying through your bridge. And the other side of that is your heart chakra at the end. Your heart chakra is your manufacturing center. That's actually where you start, that's where things actually start to percolate. So it takes what you're seeing, what you're getting, what you're focusing on, and what you're talking about, and it starts to create it from your heart space. Because you're going to live out of your heart. That's why the heart is very deceitful too. Because you'll believe things in that heart that's not true. You'll believe that you're not worthy to be loved, and then you will align yourself with that frequency of being unlovable, and then saying, see, I'm unlovable. No, because since you believe it, then you are actually attracted to that experience and to those people that will prove to you that you're right. So once you convince yourself of the truth, of the divine truth, that you are magnificent, that you were created for such a time as this, that you do have talents, that you do have, gifts, that you are lovable, and then what's going to happen is that other people will be able to see it because you're broadcasting it. You're actually broadcasting it out of your heart chakra. Your heart chakra, think about every time your physical heart goes boom, 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 boom. The message that is sending out, because you're broadcasting it, is your strongest belief system that has a corresponding energetic, emotional attachment to it. So if you believe, oh, this is a great day and awesome things are going to happen, and you just kind of keep on, speaking that out and expecting something good to happen, that's the broadcast, that's the vibe, that's the frequency that you're sending out. And then those experiences start to align with you, and there's a difference between attraction and alignment. So there's a attraction and there's alignment toward that. Or like, see, I knew something good was going to happen. Well, you knew it because you had an inspiration from source. It came out of your heart space, and then you moved toward that. So you have to be even careful about what you say that you believe. This is the number 11. It ends with 11. It's 38, which reduces to 11. We're talking about November. Is that really being self-aware of what's coming out of your heart, because some of that is very deceitful. And how do you know? Because if what's coming out of your heart, if it doesn't give you like a high vibe, like you feel good about that person, and you feel good about that, and it doesn't mean you have to be totally excited, but you just feel content and some joy over it. You're like, yeah, it's gonna happen. How's it gonna happen? I don't know. I just know it's going to happen. You don't have to be in this high excitement physical state, but you just have a knowing that everything's going to work out, or have a knowing, you know what, I'm doing the best I can with what I know, and eventually it's all gonna catch up, and, you know, my health will turn around, my money's gonna turn around, everything's gonna work out in the grace and perfect ways. But if your instinct is anxiety, your instinct is sadness, your instinct is depression, then that means there are things in your heart space that you need to deal with, because it's actually choking those things out. So I'm gonna help you with that right now. I'm going to use from Breaking Copyright, Non-Copyrighted Music, Piano, Ambient Music. I've used this song before. And we're going to concentrate on your 5th and 4th chakra. So just, I bless your 5th chakra so you're able to bridge in and may allow spirit and allow source energy to kind of slap your hand if you say things that are not in line with your best. So that way you can start catching it. May you start to catch those things that you're saying that you do not want in your life, and you start to turn that around and start to speak only those things that you want to see, so that way you can also empower and clear out your 6th chakra. And I bless your heart space so you can start to create that. So as you're sending out those signals of your predominant belief system, that signal is a good one, and that only those things that are good and pure and perfect, those things that are to give praise, to bring you into the state of thanksgiving and keep you in that state of gratitude, is really what's coming out of your heart, and it'll change your whole life.
first started off with the higher power card. I seen those colors. It was pink, purple, swirling around the sun. And then it went to the next scene of like a beach, which is a pretty blue and white sky. And the waters was like a beautiful blue. And by the same, like by the beach. And I felt like I would represent the divine feminine, like running. And then I took like a running start, and then before I knew it, I was flying and going around and around and around. And then I was flying towards the sun, and then I became the sun, and then I sat on top of the sun, and the next thing I found myself going further out into space and looking back at the earth and just watching it and just saying, and then I could feel like my divine masculine there with me. But then at the same time, I felt other beings, and it was like it was saying, you gotta go back. And I was like, no, I don't wanna go back. It's like, you gotta go back. I was like, no, I don't wanna go back, I wanna stay here. And then it was like trying to tell me, you gotta go back. And then I came, I said, okay, I'm ready to do the job now. And I came back and I descended back to earth. That's where it took me.
That's beautiful. And that really goes along with the cards that you were saying, right? The breaking out, getting ready for your wings to expand. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like for some of those who are listening to this, whether now live or replay, that some of that is really getting into that 3D union with your divine masculine. And that's how it feels that, you know, when you're with that person and you don't want to do anything else.
Right. That's why I'm like, no.
And you're like, no, I want to stay right here. And that's part of the reason sometimes that we're not in that 3D union with them fully, because then Source knows that we're in this high, we're really high. It's almost like, you know, you feel like you're high for real. Mm-hmm. And you want to stay in this sacred, playful, joyful space, and you don't, and it's far away from everybody, and it's secluded, mm-hmm. and it's surrounded in this beauty, and you don't want to come back to earth because you're enjoying the 5D being made manifest in the 3D with this person that you're in love with. Mm-hmm. That gets you fully, you get them, and then, but if you stay there, then, you know, now being enveloped in that space, then you won't do your mission, and you have to come back to earth.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. So just you remember the balance that as your beloved is coming in, you'll have that season, and then you have to snap out of it and get back to work. Mm-hmm. But there's this healing that's happening through the breakthrough and through your heart space, because you're about to take off. Yeah. You're about to soar. You're definitely going to, and that's for all of you in the sound of our voices, that the intention of this setup is to get you ready for month number 12. So what happens in the butterfly is that as they're expanding their wings so the blood can come in, it takes about 4 hours. So toward the end of November, you'll start to get that breakthrough, and then it's your 4 weeks. So instead of 4 hours like the butterfly, you're going to have those 4 weeks where mm-hmm. the nourishment of source energy is going to be coming into you to get you to take off and to get you ready. So that's a good segue into December. Mm-hmm. So December is 12. It's about, there's a couple things, right? So 12 means governmental order. So there are things that have to get into order in order for you to expand, in order for you to take off. You know, those things that you have been working toward are now really bearing some fruit, and you're going to start to see that. But it also reduces to the number 3. This is the year 3, it's the year of alignment. So for many of you, you're going to start, because you are aligning within, it's that spirit, soul, and body connection, really being connected within yourself. You're going to then be catapulted and be able to fly and take off. And so you have to really concentrate on those 2 things. What is it that you have to put in order for you to take off? What is it that you have to put in order for you to be aligned within? What is it that you have to put in order for you to understand that it is an inside out work? It's always, we say it, but you don't know how to manifest it. It's, it's as above, so below. So what is and I had seen this, and Source had shown me in the Thoth deck, the moon card, and you see as above, so below, but then he said, look at the proportions. And the as above part was 2/3. The below part was 1/3. That is actually the formula. So you are to put in twice as much effort in your focus and energy into the spiritual things, into your alignment, and then you're gonna see it manifest in your 3D. So that's the thing, it's 2 to 1, right? 2 to 1 is still 3, and that's the moon is your high priestess. So that's the card that's coming to mind for December, is understanding as above, so below. And we do a lot of things in the 3D, so you're like, well, I have to work. A lot of the stuff that we do, during our day jobs or whatever you're doing, you already have a plan, you kind of have a flow, so you're not really, you're doing moments of focusing, but it's not like intentional, putting a lot of, like, all your passion and energy in that thing. Because a lot of what we do in our day jobs, a lot of pieces are routine or they're monotonous. It's just like busy work because they have to be done. So that's not the kind of work, there's a lot of it in that space, and then you'll have moments where you get to be in your bliss, or you get to really bring your talents and give things to the table. But the whole 8 hours is not like that. But what you want to start focusing on for December is purposely taking this time that when you are in this free will state, when you're conscious about doing something and you're just not going through routine or habits, or like this is the next thing I have to do, that most of that time, 2/3 of that being aware of what you're doing is actually in alignment, it's actually on that spiritual work, it's in playing in that imagination space, because what you see is what you get, is nurturing your heart space, is nurturing yourself, making sure you're taking care of your body, making sure that you're resting, making sure that you're nourishing it correctly, including having some fun, scheduling in the fun if you have to, and then saying, it's on the books, I have to go do it. So, putting it on a calendar so you are committed to what you're writing down, and then go and do it. So you want to think about those things, because you're about to take off by December, but you have to get into your alignment. You're not going to be in perfect alignment, because again, we're always expanding. So whatever alignment looks like and feels like for you, just tap into your own intuition, and then ask source, like, what am I supposed to be working on, and just trust. Then it's about the faith part, the trusting in that you're doing everything that you know to do. But whenever it becomes like a chore to you, you need to stop, because now you're putting in like negative energy toward it, and not on purpose. Is that now that's almost become like a sore spot for you, because now you're like, well, this isn't happening, or I don't see any movement, and then you start putting in anxiety because you're like, oh, the calendar's gonna turn, and what if I'm not aligned, No. Whenever you get into that space, you need to back off and go do something fun and clear your space, clear your mind, until you can come back to the point where, like, you know what, everything is happening under grace and perfect ways. Everything's unfolding the way it needs to unfold, and I'm gonna go with the flow. Knowing that whether I feel it or not, because again, feelings are just data points, it's just telling you what's in your subconscious, right? So you have to get to the point where you have to acknowledge your feelings and ignore it at the same time. Because if your feelings are telling you, giving you anxiety and worry and saying, oh, well, I don't know if I'm aligned or not, you can say, well, whether I feel like I'm aligned or not, I'm going to speak in the divine truth. And the divine truth is I am aligned, and that everything I need for this season in my life, I'm receiving the direction, I'm receiving the empowerment to do it. Because you're never going to get direction from source energy and then not the empowerment to do it. You're going to be told, and then you're going to say, oh, and then you're going to be shown the way of how to do it. So when you get that inspiration of what you need to do for your own alignment, for whatever you need to align in this season, then you can say in thankfulness, thank you that I know this is the space where I need to align in and I need to clear out, and the how is manifesting itself to me. The how is showing its way to me, and I know that I'll be able to free flow in that space, even though it might be hard, because a lot of times we have to go back into memories that we don't like to. We have to see our part that we played in it, other people's part that they played in it, and then deal with those soul wounds. But as those soul wounds are healed, then you're released, and then you can go ahead and move forward. Because where you're going, you can't bring that baggage. It's really hard to fly if you have all this shit on you. That's why, you know, when they, like, you see these commercials with the Dawn soap, they're like clean, they all these animals that are stuck in tar and everything, and they're like gently, you know, cleaning them because they can't fly because they have all this muck on them. So they use the Dawn soap to kind of make them clean and then set them free in the wild. So that's the process that you'll be going through. You have all this muck and you can't take off. So this process is about using that supernatural Dawn to take the crap off you so that way you can fly.
It gets everything clean.
I
Dawn. Okay. We have for the month of December is the Archangel is Raziel, and the focus is dreams, which makes sense. Really, we're moving into enacting some of the things, the dreams that we have had for ourselves, our vision, and really making it plain and moving into our mission and purpose and who we are. Some things that we got, energies that we got to work with, our shadows, is, it says addicted and the child I was meant to be. Now, addicted kind of threw me a little off, but it said to me in some ways addicted as far as how we're thinking. Again, we're moving into those different shifting of our realities. We're now the butterfly, we're pumping blood, and so we got to kind of watch that we don't go back to our old ways of thinking or doing things. That's what it brought to me, because we really want to have this blossoming abundance, and so we don't want to get to the point that we really are. To me, when I see blossoming, it's like we're opening it up and then we say, no, close it. Not open it up, no, close it. I forgot, there's some kind of character I can see this, like, no, open, I forgot, oh Lord, some character. But anyway, so the blossom and abundance thing is, that's the energy we want to move into, and so we've got to work with some of those things as far as how they're appearing as far as addictions. We also have to, the card came out with was the child was meant to be, which again, still doing those inner child work, because again, like I had said in one of my webinars, that was talking about how we had to come back to being a clean slate, back to our sovereign self, which again is that making sure that we come back to that and releasing all those things. So that's why it is good to do that forgiveness thing, and maybe we might have to find ourselves again after Thanksgiving, going back again and revisiting that thought again, because we're trying to blossom and bloom into something new. In love, we have to understand that it's worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. I look and I see here the divine masculine has some things that he's still working on as far as his communications and at the upper heart chakra that he's working, because I see this like he's covering these two things up. So those things need to be revealed and open. And as far as even with the divine feminine, she's still working with her solar plexus being able to stand in things, and in her heart too. So we have to work on those things, because again, we want to have peace, and we want this new beginning, and we want to kind of present this olive branch, not even just to ourselves, but also to our divine counterpart, and also into the world. It seems like it's able to create these new sunny skies, these blue skies. They're not really as blue yet, but we're kind of developing and getting into that. The life changes that we're going to be experiencing in the month of December is in our emotions. It say that it exchanging gifts. So really thinking about outside the box, the things of the norms and things that we're used to. We're saying, okay, we're flexible about things in life. We're kind of bending over, maybe backwards in some ways, but not so, but really get into that energy of being maybe a little bit too flexible in some things, because we got to really find out what's our true north for ourselves. And we've been masking our emotions, and so we really got to come to the point that although we're doing this dance in life that I see with this ballerina in there, but we might have to find ourselves being beaten to our own beat of our own drum. And to be okay. That goes back to the ego and what I see in the vision, that you might have to find yourself flying higher and being in spaces that nobody else is there. And remember that you are the gift that is supposed to be exchanged to the world, that they'll bring it to me. Also, you are stronger than you know. A lot of us, we gotta kind of get all these dreams. We might think of, oh, I want to have this dream, but at the same time, like, am I ready? Am I really capable of doing this dream or this vision that I'm having 2020, which is really 2020 is living the vision that you have, that you set up for yourself in 2019. I see a lot of heart, a lot of pink, so a lot of things again, like Jupiter 11:11 stated, coming from the heart, making sure that it manifests this, and make sure that you're listening to the true things, desires of your heart, and not something fake that you're telling yourself. And then also you have to, what we got to surrender to in the month of December is the idea you can fix someone. It's time for a relationship to shift. It doesn't work to try to fix someone. Each person must be accountable for his or her own healing. I see a lot of heart chakras, so this one's got a lot of heart again coming back into play. And so again, I see her with the arrow. So really hitting that target, really getting those things that you want to manifest, and you want to desire the things, the matter of your heart. Also is read there. So I'm picking up also with this is that understanding that sometimes when we're empathic or we feel for others, again, that goes back to that feeling, that statement, they keep bringing it to me again. It's like, I understand the needs of others, but don't forget about self. And that's really been presented by the next card, which is for your divinity, which is your selfhood. She talked about work. That's weird. It shows that. Although you're going through the mundane things here, but I'm seeing her going to Starbucks and taking her time to kind of just chill, like I said, in the middle of the day, finding ways to commune with yourself, still being true to yourself in there. So just really honoring, because the next card after that is appreciation, really being able to stand in there. She's like the center of attention. Everything is blossoming and blooming around her at the same time, because she looks like a person that said, I know myself, I am divine, and I'm really creating the things to happen. I'm the thinkers that think the thoughts that makes the things. So she's taking that step in understanding who she is. And so that's the energy that we're going to move into, becoming our dreams, dealing with those things as a child, going back into reverse when we came into this world of being spirit and starting off with a clean slate and being our sovereign self, into that sovereignty of understanding that, we're starting over again and really coming in here with the vision and the purpose, and also mastering that. But we got to master our emotions here. We got to understand that, we got to wave, we got our wings. Now they're ready and capable to fly in the year 2020. And so we need to kind of really make sure that we're at peace with things, because we don't want to disturb things. There's also in the word way of manifesting, and understanding that, sometimes this may be, I feel I'm saying, telling also your divine counterpart, he may or may not be ready at that time, but we're hoping that, again, that you're doing the work, that it causes for him to kind of like, come on, you got to come along with me. But again, at the same time, remember the focus is on you. Let the universe and everything else take care of itself.
Yeah, when you were saying pink, what was coming through is like, for many of you, rose quartz will be really beneficial.
Yes.
So rose quartz has to do with helping you with unconditional love, and also love of self, which ends in this alignment here, because it's the energy card. If you look it up, you probably can't see, it's too far. But it's, when Divine Universal's 11 was talking about standing in her own, having that appreciation, being in the middle of all that, it's ending with 15, which is grace, and more grace. So I release that over you, the grace to change, but it reduces to 6, which is love. And standing in that love, standing in that unconditional love, standing in that love of self, understanding that it's okay for you to stand there and also receive the appreciation of others as well, because that's not pride. It's not pride to be in self-love. It's actually pride to not love yourself, because you can't. We only have 2 rules, love source with everything we are, love other people, love our neighbors as ourselves. And you cannot love your DM or anybody else around you properly unless you have that self-love. Because how you feel about yourself eventually is going to bubble out on how you treat other people. So when, let's say, you are afraid that people won't engage with you, so then, or they won't value you, so then you might overstep and do a lot of things for other people because you're afraid that because you don't have value of self, you're trying to always prove that you're valuable. So then because you're trying to always prove that you're valuable, you open up doors to allow people who are not narcissistic, who's picking up on that energy, says, okay, you want a project and you want to prove that you're valuable, well then I'm gonna take what you have to offer. Because you're actually drawing that in and aligning yourself with that energy and that concept that you have to prove that you're valuable. You don't have to prove anything. You are valuable. You are valuable because Source looked at this timeline and said, this timeline is incomplete without Desiree in it. It's incomplete without Blissfully Intuitive. It's incomplete without Divine Unisoul's 11. It's incomplete without Tim Green, right? It's incomplete without Titus in it, because we are the answers. We're always asking for answers, but the answers have already been created and the answers are coming through other people. That's why we've been created, because we're the solution to an answer that people haven't even asked a question yet. But Source Energy said, okay, I know this is going to be my conduit. And so I'm going to place and put the answer and the solution in that person. So when Divine Unisouls need some things, like, oh, she can tap into me and I can give her the solution and vice versa, right? And we can do that. That's what we do here. And that's why, Divine Unisouls, if you want a coach, she's a great coach for that. I highly recommend that I don't do coaching now because I don't have time. So I'm like, oh, well, if you want to talk to somebody, if you want to have that coach in the States and stuff, especially because of the time, if you're in Europe, you can talk to David, but he's kind of backed up. But you can tap into Divine Unisouls because she loves that. She loves the coaching aspect. She loves to nurture. So she's a great coach for that. But all the information everything that you need is going to be found in someone else. But if you don't love yourself properly, then you're going to constantly try to get the external validation to get what you want, instead of getting that self-love and really just allowing Source Energy to love you, which is part of your crown chakra. The crown chakra is to allow Source Energy to come in and flood your body and just allow that universal love to come in and just pour into you. Because when you understand that you're loved and we're not going to always be in that state, no one's in that state all the time, but you want to nurture as much as possible and say, this is good. I'm receiving the source energy to fill my body with love, to fill my body with light, so that way I can do what I'm created to do and just bask in it and it doesn't have to be long, for a few minutes. Just enjoy that presence and that activation in yourself, because you're going to always try to find it outside of yourself if you don't. And then you put this pressure. So even when you start having conversations with your divine counterpart, if you still have that in you, you're going to expect that person to fulfill that for you. And then you're going to have expectations, and when they don't show up in a way that validates how you feel valued, if they're expressing love differently, then you can't see how that person really loves you, because they're expressing it the way they are expressing it. So there is some things, as you're growing in this journey, I know, for instance, I love Divine Unisouls. She's not a coffee drinker, right? But I drink coffee. I'm ordering Starbucks. I know that she likes chai latte. So before I even ask her, I'm like, I'm going to order you a chai. I know what size you want,
Yes.
Because one of my love languages is gifts. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to go there and I'm going to give her, So I ordered her tea. Because that's my love gift to her, because that's the way I love. I love doing stuff for people, and I love to give gifts. But I'm like, oh, I already know, because being in a relationship with her, that's what she likes, so I'm just going to show up with it. We're in union. So I take time to get to know what she likes and, get to know what she loves. And, and then I use my gift cluster of how I like to show love to kind of show her then that I love her and I appreciate her. And so then I'll talk about her channel, and I'll encourage you to book her and to engage with her. Go to her channel, because that's how I'm showing appreciation for who she is. But I don't expect her to do that back to me. I'm doing it because I love her, and it gives me great joy to do things, but I don't expect her to return it in kind. If and she does, she does. But I'm not, she does. But I'm doing it because I love her, not because I'm expecting a tit for tat. If you don't talk about my channel, then I'm not going to talk about yours, No, I'm seeing her gift and her beauty and her contribution and I see her value, her great value. I'm like, oh, I can't do everything. It's great. Now I know I can trust her. I know I can say, no, go over there because I have a great love for her, but I also see her for what she brings to the table. And I'm like, oh, no, go over there, you know, if you need this, because I think it'll be a really good match. So when you do that, you're kind of allowing people to just show up, and then, you know, they'll learn how to communicate love to you in a way that you feel loved, but that comes over time. That comes over really getting to know each other and being friends and becoming best friends and being in that union. So don't worry about like, oh, he's not doing all this stuff or she's not doing all this stuff. How are they showing up? You know, are they, if they are communicating, maybe they're not communicating as much as you would like them to, but as long as you are still using like, oh, well, you know, you're seeing it in the wrong way, like they're not communicating to me every day, they should be, you know, having all this shoulds, then you're shitting all over yourself.
I'm like, can I speak? I want to speak to you. Yes. I got an aha moment. As soon as you said that, stop expecting your divine counterpart to show up the way you show up to love. We are continuously doing that. I know that even with my DM, the same thing. I had to learn that. And it transfers over, you know, every lesson that you learn, even with your counterpart, you learn how to apply that even with people that you interact with. Understanding that there's a difference. I talked about that one time in the video. You know, we just keep on forgetting. I like that book where it has the 5 languages of love, and understanding that each person shows appreciation in their way of loving someone in a different way. And that's the same thing, like she might be gifts, and I might say, I don't understand gifts. She's trying to buy my love, and so now I'm kind of looking at it like with a question mark about that. And so
totally, you know, trying to buy her love.
Right. buy it. $9.99. No, I ain't that cheap. I know my value. It's $1 million. No, I'm afraid. So yeah, and that's the main thing. If nothing else, you walk away, especially from what she just talked about, that is stop expecting. I see a lot of when I do a lot of readings, and I'm saying, okay, you know, you keep on expecting them to talk to you or show up the way you would love. That's not the reason why they're there. That divine counterpart is the opposite of you. They're mirrors, and so a lot of times what you bring to the plate, they might not bring to the plate, and you've got to learn how to learn from each other. I know at the beginning stages with me and my DM, we were like about that, because I was like, okay, you're not showing up the way I want to, and I was showing up like he wanted me to, and then we kind of evolved in the way and understanding that, okay, this is what you bring to the table. Okay, I like that, and I can learn from you, and this is what you bring from the table, and I can learn from you. So you kind of got to evolve and kind of get out of that way of thinking of that they come there to complete. I think that's society that did that. He completes me. Yeah. He's the other half, you know. Yeah. Well, okay, yes and no in certain aspect. We just took it to the next degree, but at the same time, to understanding that, you know, you come whole, they come whole, and the purpose is for us to learn from each other. You don't get anything else from that. They don't come equipped the same way you are with the same equipment, physically, body-wise. They don't. So that shows you right now, it's a difference. It's that you get a constant reminder, this universe of the powers that be kind of show you that we come from different aspects. He's more analytical. I can talk about mine. He's more analytical. I'm the more artsy, creative kind of way. And I help him in some ways to kind of bring that to the table, just like he brings to the table his analytical and his business mind. And so that's how we kind of meet in the middle. So just remember that again. They're not there. In every reading, I can hear each one to say the same thing again. He's not loving me the way I love. He's not going to show up the way that you love. So leave that and let that be off the table and forget that. He's just not. He's not equipped for that, and that's not what he's there for.
Yeah. And the person who, you know, you're the one who's watching, so you're the leader, and like, oh, I hate that, but it's true. And when I do some counseling, I remember I was at an event, and I was a career coach at the event, and ended up sitting with a bunch of people, and it was a Latin event. From United Airlines, and they're all from United, and I found a place to sit, and they're like, oh, come sit with me, and I'm like, okay. So we're talking about, you know, D&I, which is diversity and inclusion, And the question they had for me was, how do I make my Anglo bosses, see our value or see like how we feel about certain things and, our culture. And I said, it's not up to you to make them. It's up to you to speak their language and to bring the walls down in order for them to hear what you're saying. Because even though you're both speaking English, if you don't create that relationship of rapport there and openness and be able to connect to the person that you're trying to connect to, it's the one who wants a connection is the one who has to do the work. And I said, it's not up to your boss to decide, well, yeah, we're having this D&I meeting and tell me how you feel. But if they're not really in that space or not appreciating really your culture or not really appreciating the value of D&I and really having that in the workplace, then they're just doing it because they have to, because they were mandated by HR or company policy. So it's up to you to connect to that person individually, and as you have that connection, then you can share your experiences, and then you can put things on the table, and then they're receptive to what you have to say. It doesn't mean that you're going to come in agreement, but at least there's this openness where you can have an open dialogue and how can we help each other. And these are our strengths from our culture that we would like to implement in the company. So I said, you're the one who wants to be understood, so you're the one who has to do the work, period. So the one who wants it bad enough is the one who has to do the work. So when you are engaging with your divine counterpart and you're recognizing what's important to them, then even if that's not your love language, that's the language that you give to them. So for instance, mine is like, I'm a communicator, and he is too, but I like a lot of communication. So he has then started to like he'll text me every single morning, and he'll text me, in the middle of the day, and then if he's doing something with other people, he tells me what he's doing, and then before he goes to bed, he's telling me he's going to bed, or he just left the office at 11 o'clock at night, and I'm checking in, did you eat, I'm like mommy or wife mode. Did you eat, babe? Go and have lunch, or I check in at 2 o'clock, I'm like, have you eaten yet? Go eat. I'll send him something funny so that way it breaks up his day. So we do a lot of that communication because communication is really important to me. But he's learned that over time. True. That, don't disappear on me, because I'll let you lead in the 3D, and if you're gonna disappear on me, I will disappear on you, and you're not gonna like it when I treat you the way you treat me. But he likes to always check in on me. He wants to know everything that I'm doing. I'm like, okay, well then you have to lead by example. So like, you do it, I don't care. So then so he's always checking in on me and seeing what I'm doing, and then we go out and stuff. But that's my love language. I like to have that communication because it helps me to bond with him, and I like to have quiet time. So now before in the beginning, he's an executive, so he has like 2 phones, and the phones are always going off, and he's always checking his emails and stuff. And then I was like, in the beginning I was just like, I get it, and then I was just like, okay, you know what, no.
I tried it your way. It doesn't work.
This is like went on for a very long time. And if you're going to be with me, then be with me for this hour.
Yes.
And it's really hard for him to concentrate because he's getting pulled in so many directions all the time. But that kind of comes with when you're going out with somebody who's an alpha, somebody who's a high executive, that's kind of the life that they live. And so it's really hard for him to calm down. So then now when we're out, he'll turn his phone the other way. Or he'll leave it in his pocket. And we're having lunch together, he doesn't. So now when he does that, I acknowledge it, because he likes acknowledgement. So I've learned that's part of his love language. He likes to be acknowledged, and he likes, about the good things that he's doing. So I'm like, I had a great time, I noticed that you didn't even take out your phone, you didn't even look at your watch at all to go back to the office, and now you're late. Because you were having a good time, and I just appreciate you, that you were so like in the moment with me that you didn't even check your phone. And then he's just like, oh yeah, I didn't check my phone. But I know, like, I can tell that he was making a conscious effort because it's almost like he's getting the itches. Like, I didn't check my phone. I might be missing something important.
I'm gonna check the phone.
I'm gonna check the phone, So then he'll check the phone and he'll be like, damn, 200 emails. I've been sitting here right now.
Oh my God, I got checking.
But that happens again over time. He's learned over time, when you're with me, show me that I'm valuable to you and do something that's very hard for you, which is turn their phone over or stick it in your pocket. And then if we're having like, you know, an extended date night, he'll actually put it in another room where he can't hear it. You know, he'll turn it off and, you know, and then, you know, after a few hours, he was like, oh, what time is it? He's like, I have not even checked my phone. I'm like, I know, that's amazing. I go ahead, you can go check it now. You can check it now. I'm good, you're giving me enough attention. You're released. You know, so it's just, don't worry about that piece. Like, he's not showing you. See, or she's not showing you.
Right.
However they're showing up, acknowledge it, appreciate the now, and you will have more of what you're appreciating. But if they're showing up and they're not showing up at the frequency that you want, in the way that you want, then why are they gonna keep on showing up? Because they're picking up that you're not valuing what they're bringing to the table.
Yes.
That they're coming in as a page of pentacles, and that page point, you know, they're always gonna come in as a page in the beginning, and that the page is not good enough because you want the king. He's not ready to be the king or the emperor or the hierophant to you. He's gonna come in as a page. And you can nurture the page into the hierophant, but you have to do it through this act of appreciation. Because everybody wants to be around someone who appreciates them as they are. That's unconditional love. Appreciating how your counterpart's showing up when they show up, even if it's just in friendship. You know, even if you know, like, they're walking past you and they just needed to see you, so there'll be like some kind of lame excuse and they'll be like, oh yeah, and then they'll like give you some, you know, how's the weather kind of bullshit. It's just because they want to hear the sound of your voice and they want to look at your face, but they're not going to tell you that.
No.
And you can just be like, I see what you're doing. And don't be like, well, it's about time. I've been sitting here for 6 months and you finally got the nerve to come and talk to me.
Oh Lord, no, that does not work.
That does not work. Just appreciate, like, oh yeah, hi. You don't be sarcastic and passive aggressive. Well, hello there, stranger. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Just really, I've gotten to that point where you do have to consciously, like every time when they do something, like really vocalize. Thank you for the phone call. Thank you for the text. Thank you for responding back. Thank you for checking in on me. You know, it's just like, and I've seen that how it has taken that and it has grown more from that. So you just really do have to make a conscious effort of actually saying that, and it will multiply. I've grown to that. It's like, yeah, I was before that person. Like, that's all you got? You did the text?
I'm telling you other things like,
that's all you got?
You don't talk to me for 2 days and then you're like, good morning. And my answer to you, I want to say, well, fuck you. You know, or not answer back. And he's like, well, I said good morning.
Right, it's like, okay.
After not talking to me for 3 days,
right,
I'm not talking to you.
I'm not talking to you. Like,
then that's petty, you know, just like, well, I'm going to be petty for petty.
You're speaking karmic. You're speaking fluent karmic at that time.
Right. And that's what, and sometimes they do that as a test, like, you know, do I have to do things? If you don't want to create this situation where the person feels obligated as a duty versus obligated because they want to
do it,
you know? Right. So as you're continually just nurturing that, and I'm not saying to, you know, of course there's a balance to that, right? You're not going to put up with some things that are some bullshit or some things that are not good for you that, you know, there's things about that too, but generally speaking, you know, allow them to show, you know the difference, allow them to show up, and when they do show up, you know, just see that person as an old friend that you haven't seen in a while and just enjoy the experience for what it is. Just like you hear from an old friend from high school that you really like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, how are you? And you have this great conversation. You may not hear from them for a while and you're like, okay, fine.
Right, and that's the same thing. That's a good point you brought up too, because I had to kind of put him into the friend space, like my best friend. I was like, okay, now will you be stepping on your best friend that's like that when they haven't responded back to your text or something? I'm like, nah. I'm like, I understand, you know, my bestie's doing X, Y, Z, and she's probably with the grandkids, and that's why she didn't. Okay, so why aren't you applying that same forgiveness to him? And you know what's going on in the situation. And I was like, oh, aha moment. And then I was like, okay, so now you see why things are kind of happening the way they are? And I was like, yeah.
So I'm going to wrap this up, and then, where is it? Okay, this one's non-copyrighted music, Safio's Embrace Chill for your, let me put the sound back on. For December, for or use
December to remember.
Yes, it's December to remember, and that's some things that you can start using that mantra, right?
Yes.
My world is changing, and this season, right? Season is 90 days. This season, my life is going to turn around to such a degree that it's going to cause the December to remember in a good way, right? Don't start thinking toxic. Oh, the December to remember. No. High five. You know? You're like, pull back. You know, you're like, this is a December to remember. This is amazing. I can't believe this is happening.
Yes.
You know, something good is happening. This is going to be great for me.
Intentions is everything.
Intentions is everything. Everything. That's juice behind there. So release this over you. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I want to have. I am everything I want. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I want to have. I am everything I want. I like what I see when I look in the mirror. I like the one reflecting back at me. I am that. I am everything I want to be. I have that. Everything I need. Say oh manele, oh manele, oh manele. Say oh manele, oh manele, oh manele. Say oh manele, oh manele, oh manele. Say oh manele, oh
seen myself walking. We were walking in first it was a house, and opening it up and see a window, golden light rays, and then walked through the window into like a forest. It's called whose card is that? It's a pathway card. It has like butterflies, and it's got this green path, and then you see right there's a darkness of trees, but then at the end of it, the pathway, there's a light. Walking towards the light into that and seeing this all beautiful abundance of things like flowers, things that bloom, those things. And then as you started to say the light language, it'll say decree a thing, say it is to be. Decree a thing, say it is to be. Decree a thing, say it is to be. Thank the universe. Decree a thing, say it is to be. Decree a thing, say it is to be. Decree a thing, say it is to be. Thank the universe.
That's awesome. Yes, decree a thing, right? And it is established unto you because you are the co-creator. And so you are that deciding factor. You decree because you're sovereign in your own little universe. It's the universe. It's you in reverse. And how are you going to appreciate the gifts and the things that want to come into your life when you don't appreciate yourself? So the way you talked about it ends is the way this is going to end. It's really learning how to appreciate yourself, the universe within yourself, so you can appreciate the universe externally for all the good things that are coming your way. Get ready for the roaring 20s because it's a 2020, right? You're going to start seeing things. It's the 4 with the 2 zeros, so it's an energetic pathway with a lot of source energy behind it, and we're just getting you ready for that. Don't forget to go to risewithjupiter.com and sign up for the 4/11 event updates, so we can get you, we can keep you updated on that. And can you give them your web address again, so that way they can.
Yes, Divine Unisouls. Yes, Divine Unisouls 11.co. Go there. I have all my inner child workbooks that I have there on abandonment and exploitation. Other things. Also, I have my little T-shirts there too, to be design T-shirts that has got all kind of inspirational things like DF equals DM. Be kind, 1111. Just reminders, because my platform on my channel is to give you the keys. Keep energizing yourself into union. So that's why my platform is coaching with that. And so you can go there to get the heart-to-heart meditation, $5 holler, real quick, that part. Remember, we're not manipulating, but we're there to change hearts so we can change our minds.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I know it was long, but we were going through 90 days of stuff.
Yeah.
So come back, watch it in pieces so you can refresh yourself, refresh yourself throughout October, November, and December. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this experience so that other people can go ahead and tap into what was released today. We love you a lot, and we will see you very soon. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Yes, I'm sure.